In today's lesson, I'm going to be sharing with you a setup secret from Ben Hogan that even Jack Nicklaus uses.
I took a lesson out of Ben Hogan's book.
You're watching the Over-the-Top Miracle Swing. Good morning, Miracle Swingers. Today's video is going to show you a setup secret that I have in common with Ben Hogan, of course, but even Jack Nicklaus picked it up as he got a little bit older. Now, I'm 55 years old. I want to be able to rotate the best that I can. And this setup position is what I call the diagonal stance, okay? So we pull our right foot off the line if you're a right-hander, and it gives you a little bit more angle so you can turn your hips more. But my shoulders are square or even slightly open, so our body is kind of in a twist. It's not square, feet, knees, hips, and shoulders, okay? Now, if you were trying to serve a tennis ball and hit it really hard, you're going to set up in kind of this exact same stance. It's also similar to doing a throw in judo. So it gives you a lot of extra power because you can turn more efficiently and apply vertical leverage on the shaft, which is the whole secret of the over-the-top miracle swing. So guys, I'm excited. The next weekend golf school is October 26th and 27th here in Pasadena, California. But I'm going to be making an appearance in Florida in Tampa at Westchase on October 20th. I'm going to do a half-day Miracle Swing Masterclass. I'm going to go through the whole program. Okay, so if you'd like to attend either of these events, hit me up, Christo at miracleswingexperience.com. And don't forget, it's a great primer to pick up my Over-the-Top Miracle Swing series. It's changing people's lives. So let's get into today's video. Okay, let's take a look at the diagonal stance of Ben Hogan. This is one of my all-time favorite swings here. Now we can see clearly that his right foot is drawn back off the ball, and yet his shoulders seem to be slightly open, his knees and hips pretty square. Now, what this is going to allow him to do is load up in a diagonal way. The power we create in our twists comes from our opposite shoulder and opposite hip. And so what we can see here is he's going to be able to leverage down over his shoulder like he's pulling on a pump handle, but man, he gets that elbow in deep, that atomic elbow, which gives him such a beautiful, beautiful release. So this diagonal stance sets everything up for the classic Ben Hogan golf swing. And I challenge anybody, show me a better golf swing on tour today than this right here. And obviously Ben Hogan, he played so great at this tournament in Carnoustie. He won by 4 shots. He'd never played in the British Open before, but his accuracy was absolutely unparalleled. Poetry in motion. Here I am using my diagonal stance with a 3-wood here. And we can see when I get set up to the golf ball that basically I have my right foot pulled back off the line just a little bit. It might look even as if I'm aimed out into the trees to the right with my feet, but if you look at my shoulders, you're going to see my shoulders are more square, maybe even a little bit open to my target line. And now as we see, I'll take the club back and be able to simply drop the club across my body and create a lot of easy leverage. And that's the goal of the diagonal swing. Now let's listen to Jack Nicklaus talk about his diagonal swing.
In my case, I used to play with an open stance. And I started, well, in his book, I've just watched him. But I used to play here, and I found that with my stance here, I used to play a little left to the target, and basically parallel to where I was going. And I used to take my stance, but I found that as my body's gotten older, it doesn't turn as easy. So I basically kept my upper body and my hips and my shoulders the same, and withdrew my right foot a little bit, which allowed me to get a little easier to get the right hip out of the way and back behind the ball. So as I've gotten older, that's what I've done. And that's what Hogan did. I remember when I first played with Hogan in 1960. We were playing at Cherry Hills in the U.S. Open. And I watched that stance and sitting there, and I watched his hips sitting here like this. I watched his shoulders this, and he just had that right foot just like that, sitting back here. And he was 50, I don't know what he was at that time. He was probably 50, 48 maybe, 58. 49? Is that what he was in 60? You know, huh? He was 49. Okay. Whatever he was 49. So anyway, but I mean, you know, he was starting to get where he couldn't turn the body the way he did before. That's what he started doing. He started doing that at a younger age. I started that at about 62 or 3, I suppose.
I saw Christo talking about the over-the-top swing. At about the same time, I was looking at old swings of Bobby Jones and Sam Snead, and both of them take it way inside and loop it over.
Bob, what's your lowest round of golf so far?
Shot a 69.
All right. I'm Christo Garcia, and you probably caught me on the Golf Channel swinging as Ben Hogan. My entire program is discounted for this introductory offer, so take advantage of this opportunity right now. All right, so here I am working on the pressures in my feet. So I'm going to want pressure in the ball of my right foot transferring into the heel of my left foot. That's one of the advantages of this diagonal stance. And that was a very solid strike right out of the gate. That felt really good. Dead straight. Now this one, I kind of like got a little funky in my balance and hit a little draw. But I'm going to show you kind of like an idea of how this can make it appear like your swing is crazy. So right here, it looks like my feet are aimed super far out to the left. But if I went across the other way, and then I realized, no, it's probably a better demonstration to go under the ball of my right foot, under the heel of my left foot, like I was just showing, that's more the true pressure line as to where I'm aimed at. Okay, now there's another thing I want to point out as well. Notice my knees. Yeah, my knees are basically square, even though my right foot is pulled back off the line. Another solid strike there. Yeah, so we can have our right foot pulled back and yet still have our knees pretty square to our target line. For me, what I'm generally wanting to feel is my knees and hips are square, my right foot is pulled back, but my shoulders are slightly open. And you'll see that most PGA Tour pros are also slightly open with their irons at address. This is a good stance to see my diagonal setup here. And what we're going to see first is my knees. My knees are square, but my right foot is pulled back again. So if we watch this in slow motion, that's a pretty solid delivery and nice strike on the golf ball. Here I get over the top of it a little too much and end up pulling it. That's a miss right there. So now I start working on cutting it. Try and pull down and through and leave that face open just a skosh. So I want to get this feel into my body here, where I'm dropping my hands and not letting that face flip over. Now that was a nice solid cut right there. That very Bruce Litsky-esque. So guys, give the diagonal stance a try. Leverage that club over the top, over your shoulder, and hit these butter cuts all day long.
It feels like you can't miss.
I hit over 200 balls, 0 slice.
Pretty.
Yeah, like I'm trying to mess one up on purpose and I can't.
I am a miracle swinger. And thank you so much.